Hello, divine beings. This is the Apollo Chi. Pronouns are they, them. Welcome. I'm going to open up this space to start with. Setting the intention, I am a clear, pure channel of the highest light, the highest love, the highest truth, for the highest good of the collective today. I thank my spiritual team for helping me remain in energetic integrity and sovereignty. So today I'm going to be talking about the relationship between trauma and your energy body, specifically your emotional body, and give more information regarding how to understand the interplay of this from a holistic mind, body, soul perspective, as well as what happens between these two different aspects, trauma and our emotional body. So when it comes to trauma, you all know the way I define trauma is anything that keeps you out of alignment to your core soul blueprint is traumatic. Now, regarding traumatic experiences, these are experiences where the energetic imprint is so large on your system that it stays and creates disharmony, which manifests into dis-ease within your physical body and your mind. And what happens when you experience a traumatic experience is that the electrical charge of that experience remains within your body. We are electrical beings, beings that are constantly interplaying with energies of everything, as everything has energy and a material form. And so when this electrical energetic charge remains in the body, it begins, if not properly released and processed through the body, through the energy field, begins to calcify. And calcification is akin to the process of, if you ever watched or left out a bottle of milk and it expires and it turns from liquid into this thick jello form, that is the process of calcification. It begins to calcify. And so now there is this charge within the body because it is not able to be released, and we are beings that are meant to be in flow, where energy is meant to flow harmoniously through our bodies. It starts to calcify and calcify and calcify until it starts to create these chunks of energy that becomes energetic blockages. And when energy cannot properly flow throughout our energetic bodies, and depending on which spiritual system that you study or believe in, there are a variety of different energy bodies. It leads to disharmony. Imagine a pipe where water is flowing through, and all of a sudden all of this gunk is there and the water isn't able to flow, and it creates all this pressure and tension within that pipe. This is the same thing that happens in, for example, a heart attack, where we have plaque buildup within the veins, which cuts off the heart from receiving the proper flow of oxygen and blood it needs, same as what happens in a stroke. And so when this calcification happens on an energetic level, we begin to experience disharmony within our energy field. The flow is disrupted. And that disruption of flow within the energy field is then manifested within our material realm, the physical body, as dis-ease, as disorders, as illnesses, chronic or otherwise. And so when it comes to trauma, from now a mind-body perspective, society will talk about things like somatics, which is the processing of the energy of trauma through a physical means where you focus on deregulating and releasing the energy of those events through your nervous system. And so what is happening here is when we're going back to the energetic perspective, the soul perspective, there's this calcification that needs to be released. And so in the energetic perspective, if you can imagine now a pipe with the flow of energy or water going through and all this gunk that's been built up, that gunk has to be dissolved, dislodged, and released. And the process of it being released from a spiritual healing, energetic healing, is the breakup of that calcification of energy. Is the removal of the calcification of energy. And there's many different energy works that this can occur through. Qigong healing, Reiki healing, although Reiki healing is very much about helping the body return back to homeostasis. But when it comes to trauma, I tend to move towards the Qigong healing in terms to help break up this calcified energy. Other forms such as shamanic healing. But regardless of what form it is or what you're doing, it is all working on the quantum level. So being able to go to the quantum level to access the subtle energy body to begin to process out these calcified energies. Now, in terms of the emotional body, when we have all of this within our emotional body is the body of water. We are 70-80% water. We begin to become cut off from our emotions. Our emotions can become dysregulated. Our chakras experiencing different blockages because the flow of energy is not able to flow properly between all of them. Within the Vedic system, your emotional body is associated with your sacral. Your sacral is the sacral chakra is the chakra of creation, creativity, procreation, fertility, abundance, pleasure, desire. So you can imagine how a traumatic experience and the calcifications of energies within our emotional body can then create a way of being in which we feel cut off from that sacral experience in our lives, from the receiving of that desire, pleasure, creativity, creation, fertility, abundance, from the cutting off of our emotions. And water is a transmuter, it's the conductor of energies. So the cutting off from our intuition. And so on a quantum level, you go in and you begin to remove the calcification by decalcifying these energetic blocks, these traumatic experiences held within the subtle energy body. And then once it's released, you still have to process it out physically. And this is where the mind and body comes in. This is where practices such as somatics, which allow and help us to begin to move the energies through our body, to process the energies through our body, to be with the emotions, the thoughts that come up as we are processing out those emotions in a way that gives us the space to be with the body as it is decalcifying, with awareness, with non-judgment, with compassion. Practices such as mindfulness, which teach us how to bring awareness to our experience so that we can experience it in the now, in the present moment where the energies are being brought up to the surface of our awareness to be released. When we are healing from trauma, it is the process of being aware in the present. So those energies, whether the experience is from 5 years, 10 years, decades, a past life, ancestral, whatever those experiences are from, can be brought back to the present moment and released now, which reverberates back into time and space and clears and decalcifies those blockages across time and space, the past, the ancestors, past parallel lifetimes. So the correlation between trauma healing and emotional body requires a holistic perspective to truly get to address the whole being, the whole body. Not only addressing the trauma from our and that lies within the emotional body from a mind-body perspective or somatics perspective or mindfulness perspective, but from an energetic perspective. And again, I'm not going to go deep into all the different practices in which one can do this, but this is just to provide a higher overview of the way in which we as a society must move towards to truly heal and fully heal. Healing doesn't have to be a lifetime journey. It can merely just be a chapter in our lives if we have the adequate knowledge and wisdom. And practices to support us to heal once and for all. So, when it comes to trauma and the emotional body and how it impacts it, it disrupts emotional regulation. It's hard to be regulated if your emotional body, which is associated with your sacral chakra, isn't flowing energetically, is calcified with energies. Either you get cut off or you get too much. You experience the desert or you experience the ocean and you're drowning. You're not able to find a point of balance and center within your emotions because there's this huge electrical charge, this huge energetic imprint within your energy that has not yet been addressed, that is causing blockages and harm, disharmony. And so the process of coming back into alignment and embodiment of your true self, your code blueprint, the you that you as a soul said in this lifetime, this is the highest expression of myself, of my fulfillment, of my happiness. Coming back into harmony with you and in unity with Source is rooted in the foundation of decalcifying trauma within your emotional body and within all bodies, right? But we're talking here about the emotional body. It's the same experience in the other bodies, but different terminologies and understanding. Like I mentioned, you can deem it as the experience of plaque that builds up in the veins, which creates constriction within the blood flow to the heart, and thus you experience a heart attack. Versus the constriction of the plaque, instead of going it to your veins within your heart space, it's now your mind and you experience a stroke. Whether it be a stroke or a heart attack, it's still caused by a buildup of plaque within the veins, preventing the proper flow of blood and oxygen and nutrients to where they're meant to go. And so on an energetic level, this is what is happening. Trauma prevents the proper flow of energy, preventing it from going where it needs to go as beings that are meant to be in flow. So I hope that provides a higher understanding of trauma in the emotional body and the way of healing it from a holistic perspective, mind, body, and soul. And the necessity of understanding a holistic perspective that is integrated from all three of these points, aspects of our wholeness, so that we can get back to our heart. You cannot experience the fullness of the experience of humanness, of the experience of life, of the experience of joy, of the experience of love, if you have constrictions within your energy body in the emotions. It means that there are certain parts and aspects that will be constrained. Let's say your potential of experiencing the fullness of life is a scale of, I'm going to do a nonsensical scale so you don't start to rate yourself. A scale of apple to pineapple. No, that's just way too abstract. How about, let's do numbers. Let's say your scale, no, let's do letters. Let's say your scale is from A to Z. And because of the experience of that trauma, that energetic experience that is still within your body, your energy bodies, your physical bodies, you've been constrained. Instead of A to Z, it's like J to N. Now, you have the potential to experience life in the fullness of life from A to Z, but the J to N is where you're at. And so the unblocking of your emotional body is literally either the opening up of waves of emotions you have not felt, or the dialing down of emotions that have been you felt too much of. Again, it's the desert versus the ocean analogy. And so I hope this is helps you understand the process of what you are experiencing when you begin to heal your emotional body, heal your trauma, experience energetic releases. Or when you do things like, from a somatic perspective, when you're shaking your body and they ask you to shake or feel or lean into certain emotions that help release the energy within your nervous system, what actually is really going on? And that eventually, as you move through this process, you get to a point where all the bodies, not just your emotional body, or your mental body, or your astral body, but your bodies begin to become unblocked, right? Because the thing is, when one blockage exists on one body, it will impact the other bodies, your other energy bodies, your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, your astral body. And so eventually you go through this process of creating energetic flow through your bodies, allowing your system to come into harmonic resonance with your own natural harmonic blueprint. We are all waves in an ocean of life. And the ocean is this world, this universe, this cosmos. Each one of us emitting our own unique frequency made up of sacred geometry, colors, sound. And so it allows us to come back into harmonic resonance with the sacred geometry, sound, colors that is uniquely ours to have. Our unique incarnation as source, our unique thumbprint, only belonging to us. This is our authentic and true self. This is your authentic and true self. And so with that, I bid you adieu. Wherever, whenever you are, I am so grateful to you. I don't take it for granted. And I am also grateful for my spiritual team for helping me remain in energetic sovereignty as I channel this information to you and share this information to you as well. To close off this space, knowing that wherever you are, that you take care of yourself. I invite you now to take 3 deep breaths with me. From the big belly out. Sighing out. Okay. Just to give your nervous system some deregulation and calming. And with that, take care. I love you. Peace.